In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court strikes down a crucial aspect of Biden's environmental policy. On Thursday, the Supreme Court issued a decision that significantly reduced the federal government's ability to regulate bodies of water, thereby overturning a previous Biden administration regulation. The Environmental Protection Agency's (EPA) expansive definition of the waters of the United States, WOTUS, was rejected by the Supreme Court in a unanimous 9-0 decision, which was delivered by Justice Samuel Alito. Invoking the Clean Water Act, CWA, of 1972, the EPA forbade Michael and Chantell Sackett, two Idaho citizens, from constructing a home next to a wetland years ago. According to Alito's majority opinion, the EPA ordered the Sacketts to restore the site, threatening penalties of over $40,000 per day. The wetlands on the Sacketts' property were designated as waters of the United States by the EPA because they were close to a ditch that drained into a creek that fed into Priest Lake, an intrastate lake that was navigable. The Sacketts filed a lawsuit, claiming that their land did not constitute waters of the United States. In the end, it was decided that the WOTUS definition used by the federal government must only apply to water sources that have a continuous surface connection to significant bodies of water. Although the court's ruling on the merits was unanimous, it was split 5-4 on how the federal government should define water sources. Understanding the CWA to apply to wetlands that are distinguishable from otherwise covered waters of the United States would substantially broaden existing statute to define navigable waters as waters of the United States and adjacent wetlands, Alito argued in his opinion. Republican politicians and landowner advocacy organizations applauded the decision, which came months after the EPA finalized and put into effect a new WOTUS policy. The EPA and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers secretly revealed that they had authorized the WOTUS law and that it would be implemented in March. On December 30, 2022, the last working day of the year, Michael Regan, administrator of the EPA, stated after its announcement that the rule safeguards our nation's waters. The regulation gave the federal government the authority to control wetlands, lakes, ponds, streams, and relatively permanent waterways. It generally followed an environmental regulation from the Obama administration that went into effect before 2015 and made the adjustments in an effort to reduce water pollution. The regulation represented the CWA's broadest interpretation to date of which water sources need to be protected. Republican members of Congress, business organizations, and a number of states denounced the regulation as an instance of government overreach and asked that it be repealed. A federal judge granted a request to halt the regulation's implementation made by 24 states and several trade associations in April. A rule opposing the regulation was approved by both the House and the Senate. The Biden administration has received a strong warning from the Supreme Court today about its attempts to overregulate millions of Americans' lives, according to Senator Shelley Moore Capito, R.W. Virginia, the ranking member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. By rejecting the significant nexus test, the court protected America's farmers, ranchers, builders, and landowners from overreach under the Clean Water Act, and the court ruled President Biden's recent WOTUS rule goes too far, Capito continued. I am thrilled with the court's decision today, which is a major win for individual freedom, the petitioner said. I was proud to both support the petitioners on this case last year and lead a successful effort this year in Congress to overturn the Biden WOTUS rule. Dan Newhouse, Republican Washington's chairman of the Congressional Western Caucus, praised the court's decision as one that upheld the Constitution, the American people, and our freedoms and urged the EPA to formally revoke the WOTUS law. Farmers' advocacy group, the Waters Advocacy Coalition, praised the Supreme Court for upholding water regulations while providing farmers and landowners more certainty. The Biden administration's overbroad WOTUS rule is also overturned by the court's ruling, according to the advocacy group. After decades of attempts to increase the federal government's authority over private property, American job creators and farmers can now proceed with greater assurance in providing the essential services that support our economy, such as raising healthy food, constructing affordable housing, and generating domestic energy.